U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is on her way on a trip to Asia, where she's expected to make stops at Singapore, Japan, and South Korea. But more crucially, all eyes will be on the latter part of her journey to see if she goes ahead with her planned trip to Taiwan. The U.S. has not clarified whether Nancy Pelosi will indeed land in Taipei and meet Taiwan's leaders. But importantly, this issue was raised by Chinese President Xi Jinping during his virtual meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden earlier this week, clearly indicating the seriousness. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Taiwan visit could lead to aerial confrontation between the U.S. and China. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. Use the code DEFENSE at the checkout to get an extra month free for the 2-year plan. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping discussed Taiwan at length on Thursday in a more than 2-hour phone call. The island is the biggest flashpoint in the relationship between Beijing and Washington. China views Taiwan as a breakaway province and wants to bring it into its fold in the future. Taiwan is currently a self-governed democracy. Though Taiwan has no formal diplomatic ties with the U.S., it remains an important ally. U.S. relations with Taiwan is governed by the Taiwan Relations Act. The Taiwan Relations Act neither confirms that the USA will intervene militarily if China invades Taiwan, nor does it relinquish it, maintaining a strategic ambiguity. When it comes to Pelosi's visit, Xi warned Biden by telling him not to play with fire. Neither side said in statements whether Pelosi's possible Taiwan stop came up. But a source having the know-how of the discussion said Xi made clear to Biden how big a problem it would be for Pelosi to visit Taiwan, and Biden made clear to Xi that Pelosi makes her own decisions as a speaker, and that he can't control another branch of the government. According to Politico, Pentagon officials are preparing for Pelosi's trip, potentially indicating that fighter escorts will be present with other aerial platforms. If Pelosi decides to make a stop at Taiwan, she'll be landing in Taipei on a U.S. military aircraft. Chinese state media commentator and Global Times editor Hu Zhijin on Twitter threatened that Pelosi will be forcibly dispelled. If U.S. fighter jets escort Pelosi's plane into Taiwan, it's an invasion. The Chinese military has the right to forcibly dispel Pelosi's plane and the U.S. fighter jets, including firing warning shots and making the tactical movement of obstruction. If ineffective, then shoot them down, Xi Jinping wrote in a tweet, which was removed later due to a violation of Twitter rules. In his editorial, Hu said that Pelosi will pay the cost of her performance. In a word, we have ways to raise the risk of Pelosi's performance through the visit, greatly increase the cost of her performance, and boost the price she has to pay. Let Pelosi deeply realize that Taiwan Island is not a place where she can run wild. Viewers may note that Global Times is essentially the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, mouthpiece, and is used to further the agenda of the party. It's interesting to note that Pelosi had angered CCP with her 1991 visit to Beijing. On that occasion, Pelosi was once chased away from Tiananmen Square after she unfurled a banner without the permission of her Chinese hosts when she visited Beijing 2 years after the CCP crushed protesters. In 1989, Chinese troops armed with assault rifles and accompanied by tanks had fired at the demonstrators. Pelosi's got strong support from several people, including former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who said, if required, he will accompany Nancy Pelosi on her possible trip to Taiwan. Pompeo tweeted, "Nancy, I'll go with you. I'm banned in China, but not freedom-loving Taiwan. See you there." Pompeo also told Biden not to give in to Xi's threats. CCP mouthpiece, the Global Times, threatens Pelosi's plane will be shot down if she visits Taiwan. President Biden must give full support to this visit. Don't be weak and cave to the demands of petty warmongers and dictators in Beijing. Support the freedom-loving people of Taiwan. The House Foreign Affairs Chair, Gregory Meeks, a Democrat from New York, said China should concentrate on answering for their human rights abuses in Xinjiang province. "We can't be bullied by anyone," Meeks was quoted as saying to Politico. Viewers may note that last year, a bipartisan team that included Democrats Tammy Duckworth, Christopher Coons, and Republican Dan Sullivan visited Taipei for around 3 hours, where they met with President Tsai Ing-wen. The visit carried a message since the senators traveled on a U.S. Air Force C-17 Globemaster III strategic transport aircraft rather than an unmarked private jet, as is generally the case for senior U.S. visitors. That time, too, China reacted angrily, but didn't actually do much. Similarly, U.S. Navy warships regularly sail through areas of the South China Sea that are claimed by China as part of a Freedom of Navigation operation, or FONOP. While China makes verbal noise, it refrains from taking any aggressive steps. Nancy Pelosi's visit is much more high-profile since she is a U.S. House Speaker, and there is a well-publicized, inhospitable history. It remains to be seen how things pan out.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.